Hi there, welcome to GrainTV. It's Friday, November 13th, and an unlucky Friday the 13th it was. Let's take a look at the grain hedge trading platform and see where we closed. In Chicago, corn was off 3 1/4 cents, beans off 7 3/4, and wheat also closing lower with a 2 1/4 cent loss. There was just very little direction to this trade other than drifting lower for much of the day. There's very little fundamental news. We did have export sales out this morning that were pretty much in line with expectations, and again, nothing to really get the market excited. The only thing that exceeded expectations on exports was soybeans, coming in at 1.297 million metric tons versus expectations of 600,000 to 1 million metric tons. Yes, that's better than expected, but still well off just where we were in the last few weeks, where we were getting 2 million metric tons of sales on a semi-regular basis every week. Corn and wheat coming in line with expectations. So again, nothing really driving the market to get excited about. If we look at the weekly scorecard that we put up every week on export sales, it paints a very gloomy picture. Corn and wheat both got revised lower in Tuesday's USDA supply report in terms of exports. Unfortunately, the pace of exports this year versus last year is pretty abysmal when you consider what USDA is penciling in. So in the case of corn, we are 30% less sold in terms of exports for this time of year versus last year, versus USDA, which only looking for a 3.5% drop. Even soybeans, which has been doing relatively well compared to the other two, is still 20% below this time last year versus USDA looking for a 7% drop. So overall, the export market is just not providing any support. The strong dollar continues to be a problem, as does the competitiveness in terms of supplies in all of our major competitors. So overall, nothing to really get this market stimulated to the upside. In other news today, Informa came out with fresh acreage expectations for 2016. They saw slightly higher acres in soybeans at 85.3 million acres versus their last month forecast for 83.9. And in the case of corn, they dropped their corn acres to 90.1 versus 90.8 in their October forecast. The market didn't really react to this. This is way too early in the season to get anyone really excited about acreage talks, but I think the market is sort of looking at the low prices for new crop delivery and questioning whether we're going to be able to have a big drop in acres. And so if you look at these corn, for example, trading at 388, that puts a really a negative prospect for many producers in terms of planting corn with still relatively high costs. We know rent costs have not kept up with the drop in commodity prices. We're still hearing land rental rates in the $300 an acre range in the Midwest. It becomes very hard for a farmer to keep renting that land and keep pushing production. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2016 if we maintain these price levels. Let's switch gears and talk about cash markets. This week we did get another gain for both corn and beans. Corn coming in at a 2-cent advance on the week for basis, while beans was up 3 cents a bushel. Soybeans really got a good lift out of the river, where basis was up about 6 cents a bushel. We've seen some tightness in terms of farmer sales. Export volume continues to be clipping along at about a 2 million metric ton a week pace. So the river terminals continue to need to source beans, and they're going to have to do it on basis because the futures is just not cooperating. This yesterday's big basis movers for soybeans, we saw some plants really drive up basis in Indiana. Cargill and ADM. Cargill was off 5 cents a bushel, but ADM was up a nickel. But the other two players at the top of our list were river terminals, jumping basis by 7 cents and 10 cents. For you farmers out there, definitely it's going to be a basis market to be trying to capitalize on this year. Looking for those big opportunities can be difficult. If you use the GeoGrain platform, then that's a really excellent tool to help you find those best-selling opportunities. Go to geograin.com and make sure and get a free trial. That's all we got this week. Next week, look for news on export inspections on Monday, and you all have a great week and trade safely.